Hello there, namaste. So I just watched the biopic Better Man. And once again, I'm gonna read off the synopsis of what this biopic is about because they have an ape as the lead character. Better Man is based on the true story of the meteoric rise, dramatic fall, and remarkable resurgence of British pop superstar Robbie Williams. I think I'll have a few things to say about that. One of the greatest entertainers of all time. Again, I'm not big in the music scene, but I have never once heard of Robbie Williams before. So I don't know how you can be a big entertainer if someone who's never been in the scene of music has never heard of you. Only big entertainers are heard by everyone. Under the visionary direction of Michael Greasy, The Greatest Showman, I guess that's what he worked on. The film is uniquely told from Williams' perspective, capturing his signature wit and indomitable spirit. I gotta be honest with how this was done. I didn't find much funny, but the indomitable spirit, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. It follows Robbie's journey from childhood to being the youngest member of chart-topping boy band Take That, through to his unparalleled achievements as a record-breaking solo artist, all the while confronting the challenges that stratospheric fame and success can bring. You know, the first thing I gotta comment on is, why is he an ape, chimpanzee, monkey, with legs, whatever he is? I mean, when I look at it, I'm like, we've already race swapped historical characters. Are we now doing the species swap? It was kind of annoying because when you go through a biopic, you want to see the entertainer there. I have no clue who Robbie Williams is, so I'm watching this trying to figure out if I can recognize his songs, but the entire time, I'm just seeing an ape on scene. Like, this could have been so impactful for a kid actor to show acting range, an adult actor to show acting range, but we get nothing because they do massive close-ups on this ape, and it's like the whole thing is CGI. What kind of acting are we gonna get from there? Because the camera is like right here. It's like I'm staring right in your faces, but you're just seeing a CGI character. It is absolutely aggravating. I would prefer them to actually have had an actor to portray the emotion of the scene. Even if the actor was the one, or even if the musician, even if the musician himself, Robbie Williams himself, was like, do you know what? Let's make me an ape. I don't care. I don't care for anyone who says, oh, it was the artist who wanted this. No, it doesn't change the fact that I'm staring at a CGI. Yes, it worked with Smeagol. Yes, it worked with Caesar from, what is it called? Planet of the Apes. Yes, you can have those actors who can, you know, emote through a CGI character. But guess what? There's so much going on in those stories that they're not the focus. This is a heartfelt story. You're supposed to feel what the artist is feeling, and I can't get that from an ape's face. But it was just whatever, because you get to the very end, and then you start seeing the pictures, the live pictures of the real person, and I'm just like, which one is he? Which one is he? Oh, this is a kid and a grandmother, so that's apparently his nan. So it falls off. It misses the mark. Because if you've seen one biopic of an artist, a musician, you've seen them all. They join a band of some sort. They end up splitting from that band. They end up building a career of their own. They get way too into drugs. They end up going to rehab, and then they make a resurgence after rehab. If that sounds like every other biopic, it is. The only thing this one has going for it is the thing that runs against it, because there is no acting there. It's CGI. I don't want to be there to be emotionally impacted by a CGI ape staring at a camera. No, I want to see the emotion of the character being emitted to me. I'm watching, I'm just like, this is starting to turn into like the live action Lion King, where it's CGI. It's CGI. It's not live action. It's CGI. So this film has several things that go against it. They put like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, I don't know, it felt like it dragged on his boy band phase. It felt like it should have just been quick and to the point and out. Because the one scene I really liked was when they did like this Bollywood kind of music montage dancing through the streets, which they did in Rocket Man, where they did that. And it was like they were constantly changing clothes because they were going from performance to performance to performance to performance. I liked that. That was nice. Then why did we get 20 minutes before of him getting into the boy band, and then we get this awesome montage of him going through the boy band, and then it's slowing down to him being kicked out of the boy band? It's just like, you could have done that all with that one montage, or a quick minute of him getting the boy band, one montage, and then him getting ostracized out due to one of his actions. That's all you needed. A good 10, 20 minutes max, not a 30, 40 minute runtime with him in the boy band. This film also has trouble kind of giving pacing to letting you know when things happen. He's dancing and singing with someone he ends up marrying, gets her pregnant, she aborts her child because she's working on her musical career, and sings a song about how family's important. It becomes top of the charts, and he comes home drunk and was like, you sang about family, did you tell him that you aborted our child for that #1? And it's just like, it's supposed to be impactful, but at the same time, it's an ape. It's an ape. And again, the whole thing that the ape is there is never addressed. The only thing that probably could is when he's in rehab, he basically says, oh, when you become famous, that's the age you get stuck at. I'm stuck at the age of 15 or 16. Like, I had issues following where things were happening, because they have one scene where he's talking with someone, and the next thing you know, it's showing a clip of the future where he's challenging someone to something, but they never reference it again. So in my mind, I'm like, why even have that there? The narration that Robbie Williams is putting into it from the beginning gets cut out like almost 2/3 of the way into the film. They stop using it until the very end of the film, where he's talking to the camera or the mirror and saying the lines that were done in the beginning. The narration just didn't work for me. A lot of the jokes as well, where they mentioned in the synopsis where it's his wit, I didn't care for. I realized they were jokes because there was an older, two older gentlemen sitting in front of me who were chuckling at a few of the things. And then I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's a raunchy sex joke. Okay. Oh, that's another raunchy sex joke. Oh, that's another raunchy sex joke. The thing I find funny is how people find raunchiness entertaining. It works every now and then, but that was his whole thing. His whole thing was being raunchy. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I would say one of the biggest issues this film comes across is not understanding that less is more. Because the most impactful scenes, at least towards me, were the ones that were really quick and showed the devastation of what things caused, or the fun he had. When it was in the boy band, it was the music montage that they had of them changing outfits, him becoming more reckless during all that. That perfect. The next one for me was the impactful scene of having this montage of him going to concert, to concert, to concert, to concert. Because those of us, I've never set foot on a concert. I'll be honest about that. I don't care about live performances. I mean, why would you pay several hundred? That's another thing. But you see the issue, because it's like they're having to go, oh, we did this thing, we did this thing, we did this thing, we had to go to this massive stage, and then next week we had to go to this massive stage, and then next week we had to go to this massive stage, and then next week we had to go to this massive stage. You start to see the impact these these musicians have to deal with to keep their performers happy. It's no wonder they all seem to lean on drugs and alcohol to help keep them perked up, because that would run me into the ground. I mean, of course, I wouldn't be completely active, and I'd try to settle down, but that's neither here nor there. We're not here about me. The sad thing is I really feel like there could be an entire message in this film, because they have this title sequence at the end about those who need help with suicidal thoughts and suicidal tendencies. Like, here's a hotline for you, here's a number. It's like there was an impactful thing here. You could notice it throughout the film because they keep showing this razor blade that he uses to split his cocaine. I've never understood why they use a razor blade to begin with, but I don't snort coke. But they kept hinting at it, so I knew where it was going to go. They have this incident where he's constantly fighting himself. He keeps seeing himself in the crowd to where he finally snaps and is killing off all his copies in the audience. It's just, in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, if he's hallucinating, is he killing the audience? It was all in his head. And in my head, I'm just like, this is an ape. This is an ape. It's just a CGI battle. This is just the Avengers. It's like, it's cool, but it's like it serves no purpose in the story. The real heart of the story was his longing to have his father back, his longing, or his grandmother telling him that the only thing that mattered was himself, not the spotlight, not everyone around him, himself. Of course, his father told him differently, because the truly impactful scenes were with his nan, with his grandmother. Those were the truly impactful scenes. You barely get anything with his mother, because his mother, I guess, cared but didn't care. They have a reference where she closed the curtains and didn't open them for 10 years. That never came up again. His nan started to get dementia, but he wasn't around because he was seeking his famous career, only to miss her entirely at the end. His father, who abandoned him when he was 12 years old and only returned when he became a pop star, and then left when he stopped becoming a pop star and fell off that, and then returned when he became popular once again. It's just like, how could you think that this deadbeat of a human being is like, I think they should have removed the whole father sequence out of it. I don't care if I don't care if the original artist was like, you know what, we need to have a high emphasis on how my father was a huge influence on my life. Sure. But it shouldn't be shown as a positive. But it's funny going through a biopic, and the only song I recognize is something the artist himself didn't write. Because at the very end, and during the beginning, and sometime in the middle, they were singing Frank Sinatra. And it's just like, that song I knew. Every other song, which I'm guessing was his, I had no correlation with it. I cannot say that was his song, or that, like, there was one when he's singing it, you know, becoming emotional with the musician. That one I feel like I've heard before, but I can't be sure because they never showed the final product of it. In the end, this biopic is like every other biopic, except there feels like there is no heart because there is no lead actor. There is a lead CGI character. For me, the best that was ever done was Rocket Man, because all the songs that Elton John did were used as if it was a musical. Like, there were short segments in there which were talking, but it was primarily music led. This one, it would pop out of nowhere like a Bollywood film. Those segments were cool, but it was like everything that came before it or after it didn't seem to fit what they were trying to do. It was fluff put onto it, trying to pad out the script, make it longer. There is nothing wrong with a concise short film. Not short as in a short 30-minute film, but like 90-minute runtime. Maybe 100-minute runtime. But this was just way too long. 130 minutes, 133 minutes runtime, and it's just like, that's too much for this film. That's too much for this film. You could cut out a lot. It'd be far more impactful. You could actually have the actor on scene and not a CGI character, and it would have been more impactful. But those are just my thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Complain down in the comments section below whether you agree or disagree, because there are mixed feelings on this one. I had no clue who Robin Williams was, and I think for me, it was the fact that it was an ape playing him instead of an actor, so I could kind of see him, and then you see the pictures at the end and go like, I see. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles!